Hello, and welcome to Puppets in Peril. This is a review series hosted by yours truly and a couple of my fabricated friends. I am your host, Puppet Pete, and I will be bringing you some thoughts on pen and paper role-playing games, board games, and tabletop games. From time to time, we'll also be doing kit reviews on toys, games, and anything else I get pressured into by my minuscule roommates. I have nearly 2 decades of role-playing and board gaming experience under my belt, most of that as a game master or storyteller. For this review, I'll be reviewing the Star Wars Age of Rebellion Basic Set, produced by Fantasy Flight Games. Following this review is almost an hour of actual gameplay from one of the local conventions. To start, let's go over what's included in the box. Firstly, there's a pack of dice. These are the dice that make these worlds turn. As you can see, there are D6s, or 6-sided dice, D8s, or 8-sided dice, and D12s, which are 12-sided dice. I will get into these more later. There are 4 character sheets, and as we open these up, we can see that they are multi-page character sheets that detail skills and abilities, and also have a section on how to level these characters as we progress through the sample game. Each of these are unique races and classes meant to do specific roles, but are also pretty versatile when coming to the game, to this sample adventure, so they can accomplish more than one specific role. It looks like the sample adventure they gave us has to do with an Imperial base called Whisper Base. The players will be rebels attempting to break into the base and complete the mission from there. Also included in the box are tokens, or pogs for the older crowd, that have the characters' faces and some of the baddies on them, like stormtroopers, ATSTs, and the like. And there's also a 2-sided map, presumably of areas that the adventure book will take us. There's also a rule book that gives the GM a little more background on the actual system used to play, and also some adverts. As you can see, this box set literally comes with everything you need for the adventure. You may have to buy the core book if you want to go into anything further or be able to make new characters from scratch, but this basic box set has everything you need for the closed adventure. Let's talk about these materials. The tokens are pressed cardboard, but it looks like they've been treated to make them more durable, and the map too has been reinforced to take a little more wear. Don't get me wrong, these won't stop a bullet, they may even get damaged by drinks, but they're better than some of the plain paper ones that I have seen. The rule books are soft-sided and exactly what I'd expect coming from a basic box like this. The dice, while looking much different than other dice I'm used to, look pretty cool. Let's talk about these dice and how they work in the system. Each of these dice has symbols instead of numbers, and there are tables you can use so that you can use numbered dice if you don't want to buy these dice or you don't like the idea of purchasing dice that are strange and unique. There are 8 symbols in all that you can find on these dice. The success symbol, these are found on ability dice, the green D8, proficiency dice, the yellow D12, and the boost dice, the light blue D6. When you roll these dice, the number of these success symbols rolled is how many successes you have. The advantage symbol, these are found on the ability dice, the green D8s, the proficiency dice, the yellow D12s, and the boost die, the light blue D6s. The number of these symbols rolled is how many advantages you have. You can use these advantages to improve the scene or heal mental fatigue, which is called strain in this system. The triumph symbol. These are found on the proficiency dice, the yellow D12s. This symbol is considered a critical success and can be used to great benefit when rolled. This symbol also counts as a success overall. The failure symbol. These are found on difficulty dice, which are the purple D8s, the challenge dice, which are the red D12s, and the setback dice, which are the black D6s. The number of these symbols rolled is how many failures you have. Failures rolled cancel out successes rolled, so if you rolled 2 failures and 1 success, your roll would be considered a failure. The threat symbol. These are also found on the difficulty dice, the purple D8s, the challenge dice, which are the red D12s, and the setback dice, which are the black D6s. The number of these symbols rolled is how many threats you have. Threats cancel advantages the same way failures cancel successes. These are separate, though. You can fail at a roll, but still have advantages that can help you or assist someone else. The GM can use these threats to give you strain or assist the NPC baddies to do you more harm. The Despair symbol. These are found on the challenge dice, the red d12s. This symbol is considered a critical failure, and the GM can use these to great benefit against you. This symbol also counts as a failure overall. The last two are the light side and the dark side pips. These can be found on the white d12s and are used to build a force pool of tokens that the players and the GM can use to influence rolls that occur during the game. As for the dice themselves, you'll build a dice pool from whatever skill you're trying to accomplish by adding your skill, using ability and proficiency dice, and then adding the difficulty, using the difficulty dice and possibly challenge dice. The GM will let you know how many you'll need. On top of that roll could be boost dice and setback dice. Maybe you were aiming to take a shot. The GM could give you a boost die for that. Or maybe it's dark or rainy outside, so the GM could add a setback dice so that it's harder for you to see the bad guy. There are tons and tons of things that could award you boost dice or penalize you with setback dice. So you build your dice pool, roll it, and see how many successes and failures, advantages and threats you'll receive. Hopefully, more good than bad. And that's how the dice work in a nutshell. Let's talk for a moment about Fantasy Flight's Star Wars run. A little bit ago, Fantasy Flight grabbed up the license to make some games based on the Star Wars universe and its properties. The Star Wars role-playing game was just one of the many games they're putting out. The others are quite awesome too. Regardless, Fantasy Flight made the choice to put the series out in 3 major sister settings, each taking a wedge of the Star Wars mythos. All 3 wedges are set in the time frame just after Episode 4, A New Hope. The first game, Star Wars Edge of the Empire, came out in 2013. I'll be getting a review of that out as soon as well. That game allowed players to play characters that lived and worked on the Raggedy Edge, smugglers, bounty hunters, mercenaries, colonists, and the like. The pre-made adventures Fantasy Flight wrote for EOE were set in a dirtier, grimier world of organized crime, living on the edge of morality. This game is pretty much for folks that liked life out on the edge, or taking jobs as they come. The second wedge of the Star Wars RPG is Age of Rebellion, released in 2014, a game setting for people who want to play from the rebellion standpoint. Ambassadors, troopers, engineers, spies, and folks of that nature. So far, the pre-made adventures released have fit more into missions, much like the clone troopers from the Clone Wars series. These missions are to serve the greater goals of freedom and escape from the tyranny of the Empire. The third wedge, and last as far as we know, is Forces and Destiny, which will allow players to play as Force users just after Episode 4. As the Jedi were purged, it is unlikely that that will be a character type. It is much more likely that we'll see Force users with more unconventional backstories, possibly from planets that have their own traditions of the Force. Right now, this setting is slated for a 2015 release, but the beta copy of the core rulebook was released at Gen Con 2014, so with any luck, we'll see a larger release of the beta book soon, just as they did with Edge of the Empire and Age of Rebellion. As for my review of the Age of Rebellion box set and the setting as a whole, I've run the box set twice and have run some small adventures with the core rulebook a couple of times. I'd give this setting an 8 out of 10. I love the setting and the core rulebook and really love what Fantasy Flight has been putting together with their basic box sets. The products are really solid and do a really good job of teaching players how to play in the system. My only complaint is a lack of character races overall, which I hope they'll remedy in the future by releasing more and more options. But we'll see how that works out. So an 8 out of 10 for the system as a whole, but I'd give the actual basic box set a 9 out of 10, as I wish they included some way to allow the sheets players use to be added to without any fear of damage. Right now, if a player writes on the sheet, he writes on the sheet, and that's kind of a problem. So I use scratch paper, which is fine. But overall, other than that small gripe, I would absolutely suggest folks who love the Star Wars universe purchase this product. Now, without further ado, I'll tack on the actual gameplay footage. I'm hoping to make this more streamlined in the future, but I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Hopefully you've gotten a chance to at least look over the story on the back of your sheet. If not, it's no big deal. As you know, you're here to play Star Wars Age of Rebellion, the beginner game. There are 4 character sheets that come with the box set, which are the ones that are not in binders. The ones in binders are actually downloadable from the site for free. And they have, if you can do me a favor and flip through those sheets real quick, just so that people can see. It is identical roughly to the character sheets that are provided in the box, as well as advancements and all that stuff. So they're pretty good. They are well-developed characters made for the basic game. The people sitting at the table today are my usual group of gamers, which is awesome that they could all make it out. This is the first time I've had a full table at one of these conventions. So thank you for that. As you can see, the dice are not what you would necessarily recognize. They don't have numbers on them. They all have symbols. So we're going to go over the symbols really quick for those of you that have not had a chance to play this game before. And then you can also learn as we go on. We'll start with the ability dice, which are your green ones. And they are to represent your natural, thank you, your natural, can I borrow this? Your natural ability with a certain skill or one of your characteristics. Then you have the symbols on it are advantage symbols, which look kind of like a horseshoe, and success symbols, which look like a little explosion, and then blanks. You have a proficiency die, which has, again, the same symbols, a horseshoe symbol and an explosion symbol for advantages and successes. It also comes with a triumph symbol, which we'll get into later in the game. Don't worry about it right now. Count it as a success for now.
What's the difference between advantage and success?
So I'll get to that. That's a very good question. I will get to that. Difficulty die is next. It has threat, which is this little one that looks like, I don't know what we call that.
I want to say like a star square, like literally like
an imperial, yeah, like an imperial signal sign. And then it has these little 3-point stars, and these are failures. The little imperial symbol is threat. Then you have your challenge die, which is just like your proficiency die, except for bad stuff. It also has a despair symbol, which is the opposite of triumph. It means bad stuff. But for now, we're just going to count it as a failure. Then you have setback dice. Setback dice are bad dice. Again, they have, I'm all thumbs. They have the imperial symbol and a failure symbol. And you have boost die, which have advantages and successes. And I'll get to this die later. There's a force die. Okay, so Justin, your question was, what is the difference between successes and advantages? Okay, let's say I make you roll an ability. This is your character sheet. You're playing Kale, a human soldier, and you want to do an athletics check. You will take 2 ability die and 1 proficiency die, and if it is an easy check, you will take 1 purple difficulty die, and you'll roll those. Okay, so in this case, you generated 2 successes, a threat, and 2 advantages. Now, taking away these for a second, if you had rolled a failure, let's see, a failure, you would have this cancels this out. A failure cancels out a success, so you would have 1 success left, meaning you still succeed. If you have any successes, you still succeed, okay? Now, advantages on threat are considered separate from failures and successes. In this case, you rolled 1 threat and 2 advantages. The 1 threat cancels out 1 advantage, so you still have 1 advantage left. If you had failed completely, you would still have 1 advantage that you could use for some different things. For example, you could spend 1 advantage. Let's see if your character sheet has it. Negatory, of course not. You could spend 1 advantage to remove 1 strain, which is kind of like a second set of hit points for mental hit points, for fatigue. You could do stuff like that. If you had 2 advantages instead of 1, you could use it to add a boost die to somebody else's attack or the like. So let's say you were doing an attack and you rolled the same roll. Okay? You had a success, which would add to the damage that you're doing with your weapon. You also had, let's say you also had 2 advantages. You could say, okay, I shot that stormtrooper, And not only did I shoot the stormtrooper, but he dove out of cover, so now the next person gets a bonus to hitting him. These bonuses could be for a lot of things. It could be one of you may have an ability that says that you can make an enemy easier to hit. It could be that you're well practiced in certain situations. It could be a lot of things. On the opposite side of that, we have your setback dice. These are dice that the GM adds if the situation is more difficult than normal. So let's say you are firing at a stormtrooper and it's starting to rain. Because it's raining, I could say, well, I'm going to add a setback dice because it's raining. If it's dark, like it's nighttime and it's raining, maybe I add 2 setback dice. There is no limit to the number of setback dice or boost dice we can add to a roll as long as it makes sense. So, it is advantageous for you to think up reasons why you might be able to get a boost die in a situation. This is called, I like to call this a living dice system, because even if you fail, you could still make good stuff happen. Let's say you failed at your shot, but you had enough advantages, you could still spend those advantages to make the next person's shot easier.
Could it also advantage myself if I failed at my shot and I missed him on his head, shot, I hit him in his foot, so now he's slower.
So
maybe you put the light behind him,
so maybe you won't be able to use a boost die to make yourself hit instead of fail, but you can improve the situation for the group. You can improve the situation for yourself next time. You can do those things.
Now, who decides the improvement? Now, would it be me saying, okay, you said I missed him, did I hit a light behind him? Or would it be you saying you, as a GM,
you say,
decides it?
I have 2 advantages. I would like to spend those 2 advantages to blank. Either to get an additional maneuver, which I'll get into in a second, or to have something happen in the scene that changes what's going on. Cool?
And who decides that?
You decide that.
I decide the scene.
You decide. Well, I'll build the scene for you.
But you
I'll set the scene for you, and then you say, well, can I spend 2 advantages to knock out that light, or knock out the light above us, so that it's harder for them to see us? So that's an option. Now, if there are 2 threat, I can spend those to do additional strain to you. I can do those to make the bad guys move a little extra. Just like you can spend advantages, I can spend threat as the GM to make it more difficult, to make the story more compelling. Cool? So does everybody understand the differences between advantages or successes and failures, and advantages and threat? Okay.
I'll try my best.
This whole basic game is made so that you guys learn as we play. I'm just going over a few of the basics. So, let's go ahead and start. I have index cards and piece of paper and pencils for when you guys take damage. Also, if there's a note that you want to pass or something that you want to keep track of, that way you don't have to worry about drawing on the character sheets or whatever. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming and agreeing to be recorded. That's great.
What?
Stop denying my free right to speak.
Can we move that? Thank you. I don't mean to be a jerk. Put it there too. All right. As I mentioned before, this takes place after episode 4. So I'm going to just go ahead and start with the crawl. A long time ago, or actually, I can give you guys this to read. I've got my own. You can't read it, because you're right next to me. Yes, it's a movie you haven't seen. Freaking will. We have some players that have not actually seen the movies. Okay.
One point. I've seen whether or not I remember this.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, war rages across the galaxy. Both the brutal Galactic Empire and the desperate Rebel Alliance reel in the face of terrible losses. The Rebel forces managed to destroy the superweapon called the Death Star. Their victory did not come in time to save the world of Alderaan. Fear and uncertainty swell in the galactic community. Now, one small battle begins on the verdant world of Alderaan. Deep in the jungle, Rebel intelligence has discovered a listening post built by Moff Dardano to spy on his rival, Admiral Corlin. The Rebel Alliance has sent a crack team of infiltrators to take the secret listening post and turn it into a forward Rebel base in the Peril system. After hours of slogging through the dense jungle with its poisonous foliage and oppressive heat, the heroes have reached their destination, Whisper Base. Compared to staying in the jungle, the prospect of ambushing an Imperial patrol and breaking into a heavily guarded base seems almost pleasant. Alright, so how we're going to start is each of you are going to take 2 strain to represent your exhaustion from sleeking through the jungle because it's hot and poisonous and all that jazz. So there are two wounds and stats that you will see at the top of your screen. One is wounds, which are physical wounds to your body. The other one is strain, which is mental fatigue. Mental and physical fatigue.
So we're taking 2 strain?
2 strain. Everybody good? You step out of the humid, insect-ridden jungle and into the relative cool of the garage, which we have here. So let's make space.
Garage. That means toys. I can.
That means things he can crash.
Well, so we're going to let the captain drive.
It's a scary prospect.
You're the pilot, but who's the driver?
Okay. Here's the garage. Let's flatten that.
Do you want to do a full screen of the map?
No, it's okay. Just occasional pictures. Okay, so go ahead and place your figures, which are these guys, at the entrance to the garage.
Somebody help me out here.
You step out of the humid, insect-ridden jungle and into the relative cool of the garage. This garage serves as an entrance to Whisper Base, an Imperial listening post deep in the wilds. For the first time since your ship delivered you to Onderon and departed, the hum of machinery drowns out the sounds of the jungle. Your task here is simple enough. Cut the comm line, disable Whisper Base's lone shuttle, and then overcome the Imperials in the base without letting the commander, Lieutenant Serev, escape to report the base lost. Simple, but by no means easy. The smell of machine oil hangs in the ear and all around the garage. You see a number of speeder bikes, as well as a pair of ATST walkers with their hatches locked. There are several crates in the room, as well as a number of fuel tanks. A large metal door on the other side of the bay, sealed by a complex lock, leads into the base itself. You find the comm line you've been told to cut and slice through it, severing Whisper Base from the outside world with a hiss and a spray of sparks. Soldiers from the base will soon investigate the disturbance. Fortunately, this is part of the plan. Taking one of their code cylinders will let you get past the locked door without raising an alarm. What do you do to prepare for their arrival?
Question.
I'm gonna go in that corner and take cover. So we're not supposed to raise the alarm, right?
You are okay. If you raise alarm, there's a chance that the Imperials here will send off a message saying we've been overtaken. You want this base to quietly go into the night so the rebels can start using it.
Didn't we just cut off comm lines?
You cut off the main comm line, but you don't want them escaping to any secondary bases or the shuttle, which is going to be which could take them to report it.
Which means
Do we have a
disable the tunnels. We have to
Do
disable
we have a schematic of the base where we prepared for this mission at all? Any kind of base layout that we could see possible shuttle routes?
Like, do we know this area here?
Shtamper Bay?
which is why
It's a very good question. Will was asked if you were given information such as the layout of the Whisper Base, where the shuttle bay was, that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do, since he was the one that asked, I'll assume he was the one that asked in the mission briefing. So I'll have him make a roll to see how much information they were able to glean through intelligence reportings previously. So I'm going to have you roll a knowledge roll. Yes, with we'll say an easy difficulty. So that's going to be 1 purple die.
Because they would have retconned this area.
Yes, they would have gotten as much information as possible. So
Nicely done. So that is a threat, which takes away an advantage.
correct.
So I have a success and a critical success.
Okay, so William rolled a triumph, which later on we'll discuss what triumphs are. Right now, we're just going to count them as a very good success. So he succeeded by a lot. Your team was able to get a layout of the facility, but you were not able to find out how many people were stationed here. You know that it was more than a handful. You know there were quite a few, but you're not sure of specific numbers or where they would be located within this base.
Okay, so do we know where their power generator is and their hangar base?
You know that because Whisper Base was set up to be a secret recon base between two Imperial officers, the power generators are underground,
Okay.
nearly impossible to get to. And what was your other question?
Hangar base.
And you know that the launch bay, we can actually open this up now. You know that the launch bay is on the other side of the complex from the garage. It's over there.
Translation: We want to be
Yes.
quiet until we
He'll
take
crash it. So I'm not
You
worried
know,
about it.
they weren't able to find out the specifics, but you are fairly certain that because of the layout of the base and how these bases operate, that it's probably a Lambda class shuttle, which looks like that one.
Okay, so this is probably very few guards, more spy oriented, more tech savvy.
So you know that the
Because they're not expecting an attack,
Moff?
they're here for listening.
Moff Dondaron?
Moff
Moff Dardano. You know that Moff Dardano has a lot of stormtroopers under his command.
Okay.
Like he's like 4-star.
Okay.
So he could easily have soldiers here. It would. You are intelligent enough to know that he would keep this very well protected. The fact that you've entered the garage and were able to cut the comm line with no one even in here is a surprise to you.
Where would you said we have an attachment to take out the captain or stop him from notifying anyone that we took it over?
Yes.
Where is his office? Because we have a layout.
So he doesn't. There are no. He doesn't have an office specifically, but you're looking at the briefing room and the communication room being big. But let's see.
Do we know how to drive or unlock the ATs?
Okay, so I will say we have been talking a lot. I will say there are. You know for a fact soldiers are coming. So
I'm going to be setting up
What-
crates for cover.
Because
okay.
you had us cut the comm
Yes, and they are coming out here.
without a choice.
So you're not sure where he can be found within the complex.
But do we know how to unlock the ATT? Like, do I know the process of doing it?
Once we actually get into the base,
Exactly.
Discuss what you want to do.
And he can pilot it.
Do we know how to unlock the ATs?
I'm running a Star Wars game for the convention.
These are the two entrances to this area. So
I'm
we
here.
guard these two entrances, and we can consolidate our fire.
I am
And
at
I
them all.
Once the first wave of troops get
Can I call you back? Is it important?
I would say the first thing we need to do is probably go to the comm area.
Okay.
This would put us in position to guard the shuttles in case we can get in the comm area.
I would say let's get our pilot to go over. the
That's a
ship
very
and
good
walk it out
question.
so
We're
they
going to
cannot
say the
take
comm
off.
line was those two canisters in the corner.
So I'm assuming this is a walkway, right?
If we get to the
This?
control center, we might be able to walk
This
down
is a
this
walkway
side.
that goes up to the doors. So let me give you some options, okay? Some options. You could do whatever you want to do, but you could convince the guards that you're arriving soldiers, new recruits. You could climb a beam and stay very still up atop. You could pry open a crate and climb inside. You could pick a lock to the unpowered ATST. You could slide under one of the speeder bikes and pretend that you're a mechanic. You could do a lot of things in this room.
I was thinking about if we hide underneath the walkway until they walk down to this gate
I think one of our main goals should be getting to the control center and locking down the base. But I like that idea to start off with.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
So crawl underneath the walkway and hide under it.
So it's all like it's built. Yeah, it's paneled off.
I said we have you trying to take one of the ATs. That worst case, we're working on it.
It looks like it's paneled off to keep the outside critters from crawling in underneath stuff in the base. You can see where scratch marks are like in the corners where animals have gotten in.
Alrighty, walk quick the ATST. Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so the ATSTs can each hold 2 people comfortably where they can duck down and hide. If you try to fit any more into them, it becomes obvious that you're moving around inside of the ATST.
I would like to also look like I'm trying to prepare a speeder so that I'm away from them, try to diffuse our numbers. So it's not like 6
Okay,
people
so
trying to fix one
which
thing.
one are you?
On the Duros.
Okay, you're hiding behind crates.
Yep.
You are fixing. You're pretending to fix a speeder.
I'm supervising fixing the speeder.
Okay.
Way to go, NCO.
In December.
You're sitting by the comm line. That's where the comm line is. That just got snipped.
So you're working on the
He's
comm
holding
line.
some pliers with
So you're
him.
just sitting there.
Are you working on the comm line, making sure that it's fixed?
These are stairs. So
Inspecting
like,
it. He's inspecting it.
Maybe
You just heard the alarm.
Well, the stairs are only like this high. Yeah, so it's not.
Why don't you try to like look at those? You're the first responder for the comm line to fix it.
You're a technician.
No, but the guys that are coming probably are the first responders.
I was in the area.
Okay, your choice. Is that what you want to do?
So we all heard a critter, right? Somebody was gnawing at something, and then they heard a spark and common out.
Yeah.
Somebody that can pilot
Sure.
it.
They're all unpowered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we power them up?
Actually,
Yeah, it will take more time than what you have here. You can already start hearing the march of boots coming down the hallway.
So what I'm doing is actually, instead of supervising, I grabbed a critter, stuck him into the comm line, and he just fried. So now I found this fried critter that was chewing at the comm line. And I heard pop.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to have you do. Okay, I'm going to have you, because you're attempting to deceive them with a critter that you just picked up outside, hoping it wasn't poisonous, and shoving it into the electrified comm line. I'm going to have you roll deception
So, okay.
with two difficulty dice. Okay,
Does he get a bonus because he's using the prop of a critter?
I will give you a boost.
Because they're kind of expecting critters. They see
Because the critters, I
Exactly.
mentioned earlier that critters are on the base.
Which did nothing for you.
Okay, now wait. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me what you see.
I have I have 3 good ones here that are
No,
negated.
these
right?
are threat, right?
Okay, so that's
So now these are the good ones, right?
Yep.
So these cancel each other out.
Okay. I'm at an even here, right?
So these cancel each other out. This is an advantage and a success. So not only do you have a success, but you also have an advantage. So you succeeded at what you were trying. We will see what they think.
You can also remove one strain from yourself.
What's this blank one mean? That nothing?
Oh, you can use an advantage to remove 1 strain from yourself. Because you have 2 strain right now.
Okay.
Remember? You took 2 damage from climbing through the...
Okay.
Right there?
Yep.
So you can actually spend this advantage to remove that strain. So you'll have 1 strain.
What's the big advantage of strain if our left?
So if you suffer 13 strain, you'll pass out.
For the most part. And
Okay.
So and I can, let's say you had rolled 3 threat. I could give you 2 strain.
Can I instead find a key that I have no idea what it goes to yet, but I found a key dropped down somewhere? I have no idea what it goes to yet, but I know I found a key.
You're human, right?
Or an access card.
An access card. I don't know where it gives me, but I found an access card.
They're all human.
Okay. All right.
Hey Dan,
Okay. I'll allow it.
we just noticed.
Write down
Yes.
access card.
I don't say anything yet because it's too loud to tell
Are
anybody.
out and walking about.
Without okay, so I kept that in mind. I thought that was clever without trying to do it. I thought that was really clever. So the Empire only picks up humans and mostly human-like species. If you're an alien that works for the Empire, there's something really that stands out a lot for them. Very rare. So the people who are obviously aliens went and hid. Without that being like, unless that was a thought that you had.
No, we didn't plan that. It was when I was looking.
All right. So, Anthony, your action.
Hiding in the thing.
Okay. So you are. I need a skullduggery of 2 purple.
We're gonna get the next. It's all simultaneous.
Skullduggery is lockpicking.
No technical.
Skullduggery is lockpicking.
That's all you do.
If it was an access panel that you were trying to slice, that would be different.
No successes and 1 threat.
As you are attempting to pick what is your class?
I'm the commander.
Okay. As you are attempting to pick the lock with your tools, one snaps off in the lock.
you're a commander.
So that side of the ATST will not. You won't be able to open it from this side. You were the same ATST,
Yeah.
so you could try to unlock it from the other side.
Can I have him try again?
No, because his action, he's been trying on one side. You were trying from the other side.
Go for it. Still does one ability die. I only have one.
I have 2 green.
How many purple?
Apparently,
2 purple.
So who's this one though?
That's a problem.
Are there crates on this side?
Okay, you don't know that he just failed. You decided you wanted to try to lockpick your way in. Make the roll.
When I
That it was
was
supposed to
doing
be
my thing, I found an access key. You know
That's
what my
fine.
access key. I have no idea
You're
what
still
goes
trying
to.
to. You wanted to try to pick the lock. You're okay.
Just in case I pass out, you need to
Yeah.
Okay. You are unable. You're unable to open that, and because you are on this side trying your hardest to make and you have no idea where to even begin to open this door to pick the lock. You're going to suffer an additional strain from the stress of hearing the footsteps coming down the hallway.
I should have rolled for it.
All right. What did you want to do?
My rifle is drawn, and I am waiting for things to unfold as I hide behind
And you're in
crates.
cover, right?
Yes.
So you are hiding.
Yes, I'm waiting to snipe some people.
You're waiting to snipe some folk. Okay.
Hiding to not be seen.
Can we take like one more movement
Okay.
here?
Make a stealth check.
Okay, stealth. Really good.
Make a stealth check at 2 purple, and you'll get an additional. You'll get a boost die for being for hiding behind the crates.
What's the lighting area?
Yes. Huh?
What's the lighting in here? Just shadows
It's
showing.
it's pretty good lighting.
Okay, so the shadows would be is it directly down
Like a
light.
vehicle
So
maintenance.
It's like these,
okay, so it's direct down light.
Like a maintenance.
like a maintenance thing.
Tons of light.
Yeah.
Is the door open or closed?
So I got 3
The garage door.
Yeah.
Nobody said they closed it.
5 advantages and 1 success.
Well, I'm getting ready to leave, so it makes sense why it's
I'm looking at it. So that's 2 advantages and
I have
1
an
success.
idea.
Two advantages and
They're stuck
success.
outside.
Okay. What would you like to do with those 2 advantages?
Stuck outside.
Would you like to get? You could aim, so that you could attempt to take the first shot, and you'll get a boost die for your first attack. Because that's what you're doing, right?
Okay. Well, can I spend like 1 advantage on decreasing my?
You could
strain?
spend both.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
wanted to take away one of my strains, and then an aim.
So an aim is going to take 2 advantages.
Then I'll just aim.
Take out the lights. Take out the
Shoot the lights that right above you. I'm in the dark. I am darkness.
So,
Start to grab.
I am Spyman. You get
do I realize that I'm supposed to get to the ATS?
He's far enough away to see it.
So we're not in and out in the open.
Yes, you see that they're having.
I draw my head blaster on them.
We're having issues, and we're kind of
They are my prisoners.
on top of an ATS.
I caught them trying to do stuff.
You're a Boffin?
No, human.
Oh, human. Okay, so you caught them breaking into the ATST.
Exactly.
Or I was thinking I could just
Roll me a deception.
You know what?
I was thinking I could just hop off to one side of the ATST and just take all the weapons.
But you're over there.
How many purple?
Well, they're aliens.
He probably
It's believable.
shouted out.
Roll me 1. Roll. It's gonna be 1. Yeah. And you're doing the same thing.
Yes.
And which one are you?
I am here. The one that was working on his speeder
No, I
until I
get some
heard a
advantage.
shout out. Hey!
Wait, are you yelling something out?
Holy.
Huh? He's yelling out hold.
He got an advantage, so that's good. That's a success.
I got an advantage. That's it.
So you want to spend that on getting rid of one of your strain?
Is
Okay.
something
It's a
I canceled
question we
myself.
And you canceled yourself out. So you're just standing there.
What's the advantage of that? That means absolutely nothing.
It means nothing. Yeah.
It's new. It means nothing.
It means I should have passed.
Neutral. Yes. Okay. So does everybody understand kind of how the dice roll and what to expect? Some of you have played this system before, but are you getting it?
I'm still kind of
You'll pick it up more as we go. Okay. As you slide into position for your ambush, you hear the sound of hard boots on the poor stone floor and an idle chatter of Imperial soldiers coming from behind the door to the base. It's probably just a Cannock shooting on the... Wait, what's that? Lock the door! The footsteps stop suddenly, and you hear a hushed voice of a squad leader ordering his underlings to spread out and find the interlopers. Your ambush has been discovered. You'll have to strike quickly to bring the soldiers down before they trigger the alarm.
Hey,
The one I'm aiming
we
at
found
is
some
leaving.
people over here trying to get into the ATS team.
Should we roll initiative first, then?
So, the initiative is actually already built, so that's one thing we'll start on the next time out, okay? Normally what we would do is, because there's those of you standing
They actually
in there.
through the door.
Yeah, they're in the
Is it what? Oh,
surprise. He's very stealthy over there.
I didn't even realize he was
Some of you he doesn't see. Oh, about Kale?
Yeah, I didn't even know he was a Hulk.
By some just thing.
Well, yeah. Because
So should we try to play off the rapid ability?
I don't think it's
I
gonna
can
work.
try to negotiate with
you might be in the middle of
It's not gonna work.
Well, I can negotiate.
we'll be able to get them already.
They're about to
I'm
just
better at negotiation than I am at deception.
Okay,
they
so,
might get shot.
just hold on.
Mine's wrong. On you.
Mine's not. I'm still on the door, but
Alright,
I would like to negotiate with the stormtroopers and tell them that we apprehended the criminals responsible for trying to filter into the ATS team.
so that would have, in effect, that would have been different if you had, say, tried to explain to them that you were new recruits. That wasn't your action to begin with, and they see folks who are what look like they're trying to break into the ATST, and folks they don't recognize,
Only a gun here trying to break
pointing a gun at them, so they haven't shot yet, but...
we distracted him.
So, that being the case, because you caught them mostly off guard,
Do we know who the two generals are, or the two people are that run the other bases?
yes,
So we know their names.
you know their names.
Okay.
So, it is going to be... So how this works is if I can have one of you on one of these index cards, we're going to write down the initiative spots, okay? Because you caught them mostly off guard, it's going to be a PC slot, a PC slot, a PC slot, an NPC slot, a PC slot, an NPC slot. How many PC slots is that? 4?
It's 4 so far.
Okay, and then the last 2 PC slots. Because some of you were caught more off guard than others. Okay? So, how this works, can I see that real quick, Anthony? How this works in Star Wars is normally you would roll your initiative. I would roll initiative for the enemies, and then we would rack and stack those scores, and then it creates a slot. So,
I don't see initiative on it.
if
It's under cunning or
if, for example, if Anthony wanted to go first, he could take this first spot, and then whoever wanted to go next could take the second spot. So unlike other role-playing games, this one allows the PCs to kind of game the system and decide who's going to move, who's going to set up, who's going to do different things in the order of activation. So, that being said, you have 3 PC slots, so 3 PCs can act, then it will be an NPC, then another player character at the table, then another group of NPCs, then the 2 last player character spots. Everybody get that? Okay.
can we get the stormtroopers?
You can get the stormtroopers.
They're all stuck in a
Or the not stormtroopers Imperial people?
Shouting like that.
Okay, so I will say I have. Okay, I will say I have stormtroopers to sit in for these people, but these guys all look like this. Okay, these are not stormtroopers. These are they are sentries. They are whisper-based sentries. Okay, and there are 7 of them.
7. Okay. Are they evenly split between the 2 doors?
Yeah, there are 4 at the door closest to me,
Okay.
and there are 3 at the door on the other side. The one with the rifle pointed in the air looks like he may be the one who's in charge, but to be honest, there's a bunch of people with guns and they're pointing through a small doorway. And they are currently, before you could react, they're all standing on this catwalk inside the door.
Anybody mind if I go first?
I've got something to say as when I go.
Okay.
I'll go second.
I'll go last.
All right, so we're going to go over turns really quick, okay, and what you can do. All right, so during your turn, you have an action and a maneuver, okay? An action is just like most other games that we've played together, so like a standard action. It is performing an attack with an available weapon, using a skill, or you can trade in your action to perform a secondary maneuver. Maneuver are things like moving to a new location, readying or stowing a weapon, using a stim pack, opening or closing a door, flipping over a table for cover, etc. Aiming so that you can get the extra boost die, or taking cover so that you give your attackers a setback dice. Now the kicker there is that you actually have to have something that would be considered cover. So you can't say, I'm taking cover in the middle of the Tatooine desert. You have to say, I'm taking cover behind these rocks in the Tatooine desert. Cool? Because it helps the story element. So, you can never have more than 2 maneuvers in a turn. That being said, you can take your action, firing, move to a place, or move it behind cover, and then suffer 2 strain of that mental fatigue to get a second maneuver to aim for your next shot. Or, if you're running away from something, you can shoot wildly behind you, as we've seen Rob do, run as a maneuver, and then suffer 2 strain to run again. This game does not have traditional range settings, so we're not talking 5-foot difference, 10-foot difference, 15. There's engaged, where you are melee right next to the guy. There is short range, where you are blaster, real quick shot across the table from somebody. There is medium range, which is like across this garage is going to be medium range. And then there are other ranges that we'll talk about later, long and extended, which don't come into effect here, but will come into effect later. Does anybody have any questions?
And for movements, for those, it's all one maneuver to shift which range band you're in, correct?
So
the bigger ones are the...
So it takes, thank you for asking, it takes one maneuver to move between extended and short and medium. Once you start moving from the medium range to long range, it takes more maneuvers. So you would take 2 maneuvers to get from the medium to long. But again, that's not the case. So in order to get from this side of the garage to that side of the garage, it's 1 maneuver. In order to get from this to there, it's 1 maneuver.
The whole point of this one is to cut the line and leave without being caught.
Well, you need to cut the line. You need to find some way to disable the shuttle. You need to capture or something Serev, Lieutenant Serev. You could kill him, yes. But if you don't take care of the shuttle, he might be able to get away in the shuttle. If you don't capture him, he might be able to escape to a secondary comm station. He might be able to escape to a bunch of different things. Actually, as a matter of fact, I will give you that, Will. You made the roll earlier to find out the layout of the base. There is a small comm station to the north. Okay. If you had tried to take out the comm station first, they would have been alerted and would have been able to get a message out. So
that's why we're here.
That's why you're here first.
Okay.
I will give you that because that was a creative earlier. Okay.
All right.
So, PC slots. You guys can talk about what you'd like to do so that you know kind of what's going on, if you'd like.
I'd like to go first, and I can
As
say.
far as I'm concerned, I was caught flat-footed, so
Okay.
I'll go last.
I will say, well, no, and that's the beauty of this system. You weren't necessarily caught flat-footed. You could still go first because you were on edge. So you could say you turn around and fire. I will say these guys do not look like they are in the mood to make a deal. I will tell you that right now. They have weapons drawn. They're either going to throw you in the brig, or they are going to alert their commander. What the suggested action right now probably is to take these guys out either subdual or otherwise, before one of them can run back and let the rest of the people at the base know.
So, like maneuvers, like what's the distance threshold that you can move in a standard maneuver?
We're going to call the length of this base.
Okay. And
The bands, the distance bands for maneuvers are fluid.
Okay.
It's
So, like,
more storytelling wise.
If like I have a stun grenade, and I want to use stun grenade, it has a threshold of feet.
It has that is for engaged. I think it says in the description in the book. It may not say there, but I think it's engaged. It might be short.
I figure I could shout something like, "Oh, I found this. Commander so-and-so is not going to be happy about this. Their the condition."
But like so
Originally, I
when it
was
says like
thinking
a
of
range
trying
of
to
eight,
negotiate with them, but if they look,
Your collection is too small.
We've originally just been getting it back together since Star Wars came back
I
out of
was
Fantasy
thinking-
Flight. We've been trying to rebuild.
I was thinking of trying to negotiate with them to say that he and I discovered these two missing, but I don't think that'll work. And saying that they look like
I had a
that's
box
why I
like
figured
this
drop
that was
the
just
name of the
filled,
commander, so
and then
say
I
he's
gave
not
them
gonna
away
be
to my
happy.
friends who were
Alright, so
playing
what's the name of the guy that owns
I
this
never actually
place?
used them for the minis.
I don't think I can
There was
connect
no point in using the
Count
minis game.
Dodoron or something?
well, you would not be blasted
Do we-
Moth.
because it's a grenade.
Doran.
It's naturally blasted.
Do we know the head security person here? The name of the head security guy here, or the
Lieutenant
maintenance guy?
Seraph.
Seraph. Sorry.
Lieutenant Seraph is the main guy at this base.
S.A.
R.E.D.
Their boss, Moth Duran.
Moff
Duran.
Duradan?
Duradan.
Who's that?
The guy over
Dardano.
Dardon.
Well, I was saying there's a couple four of them that get invested
So,
in stuff.
Hey,
They are engaged. They are in close range of in short range of each other, which means if you threw your grenade, you could possibly affect the whole group.
Oh, we might want to leave that. At least.
Because that's what we're talking about, right? Yeah.
Dardon.
If you threw them at that group, your friends are also in that group. They're also considered in short range.
You've got an advantage. I'd say use it on the grenade.
No, I'm already. I'm not going to go first. I'm going to allow the scenario to go through. I'm just
Thank the Emperor that you guys are here. We were sent by Moth Duran.
Dardana.
Dardana.
I'm trying here. We were sent by Moff Dardana, and whenever my petty officer Zaf and I came here, we saw these aliens. Can you help us apprehend them? They look a lot more dangerous than we can handle on our own.
Okay, roll
You're saying it to
me.
this group, right?
Roll me a deception.
Negotiation?
Deception.
Negotiation?
Deception, because you're trying to be deceptive. Okay, I'm actually going to pause the video, okay, and then we'll pick back up with your dice roll. So picking back up, we have William, who is playing
Jin Rio.
and
A diplomat.
a diplomat, and she was trying to
Convince the sentries that Zal, the ace pilot over here, and herself were just sent here by Moff Durandon.
You should have an
Dardana.
extra. You should have
Yep.
You should have an extra deception dice because you're what's your job again?
I'm a diplomat.
You should have good
So
training.
okay,
In,
so if it was negotiation, even if it was deception, in a real in a game that was not the basic set, I am sure that she would have bonuses to that. But because it's a basic set, right now he does not.
But anyways,
He's very good at sweet talking. He's not good at lying.
I will, however, I will give you a boost die because you currently have a weapon pointed at the aliens, and because the person who you are pointing to also has a weapon pointed at the aliens. So I will give you a boost die for that.
And they could have heard her shouting called to the aliens. So I think that all accumulates to one.
Okay.
I'm not trying to argue.
No, I'll agree. I'll agree to that. I'll agree to that.
All right.
It is going to
two
be.
or purple?
It is going to be 2 purple.
Okay.
Damn it. That's a good roll.
So there. 1 threat, 3 successes.
Okay, so as you are trying, you see the weapons pointed at you, and you're a diplomat. You may be a rebel working for the rebellion, but you still don't like having this many weapons pointed at you. You're going to suffer a strain.
Okay.
It does look like these 4 on this side, as well as the leader, their weapons dip a little bit as you are talking. Like maybe they should get the entirety of the conversation.
Okay.
Those ones over there don't look like they're
Paying attention, yeah.
paying attention at all.
Understandable. There's 4 people over there.
Yes. Okay, so that was the first
So-
PC spot.
I'm basically holding the critter, or I'm basically like, the critter's still stuck in it. I'm looking at the critter that's in the,
Okay, so you are holding a miniaturized
I'm not holding it, I'm still looking at it, it's stuck in there.
one of these.
Okay, well that's what's stuck in there.
Teeth.
Its teeth are stuck in there and its corpse on the ground. I'm looking at it and I'm not looking at the situation behind me, and I'm sitting there going, Moth Dark Dawn is not going to be happy about this.
So are you just kind of muttering to yourself?
I'm saying
like
it
you're
loud enough to
angrily
where they
fixing?
can. I'm looking at it loud enough to where they can hear it, and I've got my. Well, I'm looking at it and saying it loud enough that the soldiers can hear it, and I'm just going like, just muttering that he's not going to be happy.
So you're
So,
doing the
the
usual
second time
maintenance
Rebels-
technique of, damn, this thing is
So-
not working.
Or I'm
Well,
gonna say this is the second time Rebels have done this.
So are you trying to? Are you say the second time Rebels
No,
have
not
done
Rebels.
this?
I guess we're working for the Rebels, right?
Yes.
So this is the second time that the Jedi Force has done this.
Well,
shaking my head.
okay, so Jedi forces, all of them have been decimated.
So who's the? I
The
guess
rebels are the bad guys, but if you're looking at the critter, you could easily say something like, "The critters keep getting in here." You don't even have to tie it back to the rebellion.
Okay. Or I would say this is the second. This is
These
the,
guys just keep coming in here.
Not even that. Like this is the second base that's had this.
So would you say that you're trying to
Look like a disgruntled
deceive them,
mechanic.
and that you're a mechanic?
I'm essentially a mechanic that's just really pissed off that this keeps happening to my equipment.
Okay, so this is also going to be another deception. So it's going to be deception with 2 purple dice,
Okay.
and I'll give you a blue dice because you have a prop on hand, just like you were before.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll.
So I'm rolling. Oh wait. So 2.
Your deception,
Yep.
which is what, 2 green?
2 green.
All right. Difficulty 2. You have a boost die.
I'm gonna just kind of go.
Succeed.
I am not a crook.
And the boost die again did not help you.
It's okay, it will eventually.
Fail.
So 1 failure.
So,
Total 1 failure?
do you know why it's a failure?
Because you do not have tools with you.
Okay. Do you know why it's a failure?
Because
He already made the
these.
roll.
So this and this, right?
Negate out.
Those cancel out.
That's a negative to me.
No, this is a positive.
Okay.
And all the green dice and yellow dice are going to be positives.
Okay.
All the purple and red, all the darker dice are going to be negatives.
So this is a positive, and I only have 1 extra there, so that's why it negates out.
Exactly. So you have 1 failure. Exactly. So they look down at you. We don't recognize you, and their weapons are still pointed.
Why are you trying to hurt me more?
Okay, so that's 2 PC slots. You okay?
Third PC.
Okay. Do they have pretzels up? Or are they cooking them?
Or no one's there.
I got an idea.
If
Gentlemen, do you mind coming down here and after training? We got a run where you want us. We need you to ask your answers.
and you'd be tagging off of my success.
So you blocked him?
I convinced you this way, but not enough to convince
You
that.
saw the critter eat the
I don't
freaking.
care about him. I'm just gonna keep what?
As he's doing that, I'm gonna hands up.
Okay, so yours is also going to be a deception.
Yes.
2 dice. You're going to get a boost because he succeeded, and he's telling them essentially the same
I'm
thing.
playing the role.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
I'll give you roll another boost dice.
You hit that one.
It didn't matter. I still succeeded with 2.
So the reason they succeeded is because these 2 are. So
Look at the yellow one too.
Cancels that one.
so that negates it.
This one cancels that one.
Okay, so that negates it. And these are both 0, so there's nothing here, and
Right.
there's just one advantage and 1 success.
Correct.
And the advantage is because it's the star.
No, it's a horseshoe.
The horseshoe's advantage, like luck.
Yes.
Okay.
And the star is a success.
Success.
And he's going to use his threat
okay.
Yeah.
to get rid of one of the string. Because he's still suffering. So good job.
Oh my god, they believe
Gentlemen,
me.
if you could come down here and apprehend me, please.
Another way to get out of combat.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys. Sit and talk about what
You wanna
what
pause?
interactions be. No, it's okay. Because I want to get some players.
You guys are about to get arrested.
Yes.
Don't worry, we'll shoot them in the back.
But
hold
the two that are getting arrested are the combat people, correct?
Hold up, out of character here. I'm gonna play. I'm one of the last indentured Mon Calamari. I'm just trying to fix the ATST, but somebody locked it.
Well, we're telling them that you're aliens stealing it, so if you say that you're a part of them, that's going to run counter to our claim.
We've already rolled successes against
I
them.
want to wait to see what they do, and if I need to, I'm on the other side of the walker. I just take
Except
over
I'm
my
next to
Exactly.
a bomb grenade. Never mind.
You're on the other side of the walker.
Totally hosed.
I'm on the driver's door. You're on the passenger side right now.
Because we have a PC slot right after their NPC slot, so we can see how they react.
And they can either take it or not.
Yeah, and if they react aggressively, then let's have one of our combat people go in and actually attack.
So I've got a heavy blaster pistol.
That's more than me.
I have a heavy blast bomb.
How do I know?
I have a blaster pistol.
I have
Oh,
a
heavy
standard
blaster.
You have a
And
heavy
knife.
blaster rifle.
I have a rifle and a knife.
You are going to be doing significant
By the
amount of
way-
damage. You are a damage dealer.
Yes.
Pistol, knife, frag, and EP.
Same.
Yep, AP. I have a rifle, knife,
Same
frag,
level.
AP grenades.
Oh, I have a disguise kit.
That would have been good to know.
That would have
Should have
been.
looked at that. You could have changed yourself.
Hey, I also have 50 credits.
I have 750.
So you're picking the money too,
By
right?
the way, I have lockbreaker. Just let you know.
Yes.
Can't pick the camera
Remember,
electronic locks.
after the enemy dies, we pick their
With
pockets.
skullduggery.
And yeah, I don't have skullduggery, but I have a crap ton of computers and mechanics.
What about mechanics?
Did you finish your credit?
Yeah.
I would just say suggest throwing away now or every time, just so it doesn't get knocked over.
All right. See what I'm talking about? With the up the top.
Okay. One slice for $5. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cool. All right.
I can hack things, I can break them, but I can't master them.
Okay.
I can
So
talk my way out of almost anything.
we've had William go. We've had Justin go. We've had Rob go.
Now it's an NPC spot.
So he said, "Why don't you come down here?" And what did he roll? One success.
He
Yeah,
rolled a
one
success
success
and
advantage.
An
an
advantage.
advantage. He used the advantage to take away the strain.
What's next? Do we have? Is it an
We have
NPC?
an
slot?
NPC next.
Okay.
I'm also the
And we get to see how you react to all of this, trying to avoid combat.
we're going against the book now.
It's one rebel's job, and it's the last day in the force.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow is his retirement.
Okay, so they move. These ones move to stand next to you with their guns pointed at the aliens and say, "Come forward slowly, so we can get these binders on you." And the one on the right is holding out a couple sets of binders, essentially high-tech handcuffs.
Oh, okay. I'm like, here's a binder.
Walk that way.
Who are the four people over there?
That's going to be Rob. That one is Justin. I think this one is Anthony, and this one is Zane.
Okay.
So what happened is,
So-
they moved in, those two over there saying, give me your snacks, come closer, we'll find you.
So, you, however, because he succeeded, they aren't pointing their guns at you, and it doesn't even seem like they're talking to you.
So no one, am I still behind their look? Oh, no,
No,
they're
they
still
see you
walking.
because they moved around so that they can see the whole situation, and they while your story isn't necessarily believable because you failed, they still aren't pointing guns at you. They're pointing guns at the two aliens.
The other one's called Oz. Yeah.
Okay.
Aliens are the bigger threat.
And
play along.
it looks like this one bent down behind this one, standing up on still up on the edge with a gun over the whole situation. This one has his scout pistol out and he's got binders in the other hand. This one bends down behind one of the speeder bikes to get cover, just in case the two of you break out.
He's the one right next to me, right?
This is still
Yes. Yes. It's gonna see my giant head sticking in every once in a while, making sure. All right.
I'm gonna play
So
along.
PC slot.
there is one PC slot, and then another NPC slot, and then the last two PC slots.
I think you two should go last.
So what are you
I'm
doing?
playing along.
Okay. I'm going last.
Well, you
Yes.
still have to do. You still have to roll for like if you're not seen or not, right?
No, he already
No, no.
did.
Let's see his
He passed.
Oh, did he already? He didn't roll, did he?
He hasn't.
As you can see, you can lead a player to combat, but you can't make him pull the trigger. Ironically, some of these folks are my combat-heavy players in other games. Anyway, I hope that you'll consider this game, Star Wars Age of Rebellion. Cheers to you out in the interweb, and as always, game on. You can always check us out at gamersledge.com, follow us on Twitter, just check us out on Facebook, or find one of the handles from the podcast. And as always, may the dice be ever in your favor.